get ready for some seriously cool space facts. Did you know that back in 2011, NASA's Messenger probe took orbit around Mercury and snapped jaw-dropping photos of the planet? Now, here's the mind-blowing part. This scorching hot world where lead would melt is actually hiding massive deposits of billions of tons of ice. Yes, you read that right, ICE on Mercury. But before we dive deeper into this icy secret, let's talk about why Mercury has been somewhat of a mystery planet in our solar system. Despite being closer to us than Mars, it's had the least exploration among our neighboring planets. So, what else is hiding beneath its surface? In this video, buckle up and join me as we explore where life could be lurking on Mercury. Imagine if a celestial body in our own solar system had the power to shake things up a big time. That's exactly what Mercury could do, holding secrets that will leave us speechless. But before we dive into the surprises, let's talk about why this small but mighty planet poses a challenge for space explorers. With its proximity to Earth and despite ancient civilizations like the Babylonians observing it 2,000 years ago, even tracking its retrograde motion, mind you, Mercury remains an enigma. As we uncover more about this mysterious world, we'll discover how it could potentially impact life on Earth and reveal untapped sources of energy that could power future human civilization. So buckle up, because the secrets hidden beneath Mercury's surface are about to turn everything we thought we knew upside down. You won't believe how ancient civilizations, like the Babylonians, were left scratching their heads when they spotted Mercury doing its own thing in the sky. Its zigzag pattern seemed almost magical until Greek astronomers noticed something truly remarkable. This planet was lightning fast, zipping through space at incredible speed, earning it a nod from Mount Olympus as the namesake of Hermes, the swift-footed messenger god. The Romans would later give their seal of approval too, dubbing it Mercury in his honor. But it wasn't until Galileo Galilei's groundbreaking observations centuries later that we finally understood why this cosmic speedster seemed to be moving backwards. Its super-fast orbit around our sun causes it to pass Earth multiple times a year, creating an optical illusion that will leave you saying, aha. Get this, astrologers have been pointing fingers at retrograde Mercury for all life's little mishaps. But little do they know, Galileo was the real MVP who cracked the code behind this celestial mystery, thanks to his revolutionary telescope invention. However, peering into Mercury's super-close orbit around the sun has always been a major challenge. We're talking eye-straining risks and seriously tricky tech. Even today's mighty Hubble and James Webb telescopes think twice before gazing at Mercury due to its intense flares. So, it's time to send a spacecraft on a mission to Mercury. But here's the thing, here's the catch. Mercury's proximity to the sun means any probe sent its way needs to slow down majorly, like a spacecraft doing a pit stop before the ultimate sprint. So when Mariner 10 launched in '73, it employed some serious space-age origami by using Venus as a cosmic slingshot, and after one sweet flyby, it finally reached Mercury's orbit just in time for a year-end vacation. With 3 orbits under its belt, this trailblazing probe snapped the very first pic of Mercury's surface, revealing craters galore and an eerie moon-like vibe. But hold up, was this a case of cosmic twins or just a sibling rivalry? Turns out, these two celestial bodies were not as similar as scientists thought. Their surfaces told a different story altogether. And if that wasn't enough, Mercury decided to play by its own rules when it comes to orbiting the sun. Talk about a rebel. You know how smaller things closer to bigger ones tend to show the same face all the time? Like when you're hanging out with friends and always face each other. Well, Mercury's got some serious chill vibes going on. Instead of following this rule, it rotates on its axis at a super sluggish pace. It takes our neighboring planet 176 whole Earth days to complete just one rotation, which is like saying a year on Mercury is just an extended hangout session. Meanwhile, its orbit around the sun wraps up in about 88 Earth days. Can you believe that's even shorter? So here's the mind-blowing part on Mercury. One day lasts almost 2 entire years. Mind officially blown, but hold on to your space helmets, folks, because Mercury's got more secrets than a treasure chest. Have you noticed those glowing tails streaming out from our tiny neighbor? Yeah, it looks like someone turned on some cosmic spotlights back there, and for decades, scientists were scratching their heads trying to figure out what was behind this intergalactic glow show. The question was, could Mercury actually be a giant comet in disguise? No way, that'd be totally out of this world. But before the game-changing Mariner 10 mission, experts thought it was plain impossible for a planet as tiny as Mercury, only 1/3 the size of Earth, to have its very own magnetic field. So let's dive back in. Our Earth-based telescopes had already picked up evidence supporting the idea that Mercury probably didn't have a magnetic field. But Mariner 10 was about to blow that theory out of orbit. It discovered a super weak, yet still present, magnetic field that can whip up some serious magnetic storms. Now here's where things get wild. These storms create a kind of cosmic splash on Mercury, They draw in hot solar wind plasma and send it slamming into the planet's surface. This collision sends neutral atoms flying upwards, just like when you cannonball into a pool and water splashes everywhere. And voila, we get those bizarre, comet-like tails that had scientists stumped for so long. But now, we're left with one more mind-blowing question. How did this tiny planet manage to grow its very own magnetic field in the first place? Here's the next part. So, we've cracked the code. Mercury's magnetic field is powered by molten metallic energy circulating in its core, kind of like an out-of-this-world electrical generator. But here's where things take another unexpected turn. You'd think that since Mercury is way smaller than Earth, it would have a much weaker core and be totally cooled down from the inside. However, what scientists found during the Messenger mission was actually the opposite. Mercury's core is enormous, making up a whopping 70% of its total mass. That's compared to Earth's core, which only accounts for about 1/3 of our planet's mass. This crazy large core is what keeps Mercury from turning into a cold, dark rock, but it raises an even bigger question: how on Earth did Mercury end up with such a gargantuan core in the first place? Here's what's next. One theory suggested that a massive crash billions of years ago stripped away some of Mercury's outer layers, but new research points the spotlight in a different direction, straight at our star. Apparently, when our young sun was still surrounded by cosmic clouds of gas and dust, it had a magnetic pull that sucked in iron particles. And here's the kicker: the closer you were to the sun back then, the more of this iron-rich mix you'd end up with. So, Mercury somehow managed to snag an absurdly large core compared to its size. Talk about a cosmic score. But wait, it gets even wilder. But here's where things get really intriguing. Mercury's not just a rebel in terms of its massive core. It also has some serious geological baggage. Check out its surface. Imagine giant steps stretching for hundreds of kilometers, and the longest ones reach an astonishing 1,000 kilometers. That's like walking on stairs that never end. Scientists think this is due to the planet's core cooling down over time, kind of like how grapes shrink into raisins when they dry. But here's the thing: if these massive rock formations were solely caused by the core's contraction, we'd expect them to be spread out evenly across Mercury's surface. But that's not what we see. It looks like there's more to the story. So we thought we had a pretty good idea of what was going on with Mercury. Those massive rock formations stretching across its surface were probably due to its core cooling down and wrinkling like dried grapes. But hold up, things just got even more interesting. Scientists noticed that most of these giant steps are actually packed into two distinct bands on opposite sides of the planet. It's as if Mercury has a pair of cosmic hips, with all the action happening in the southern hemisphere, where there are twice as many rocks than in the northern one. But why? That's what scientists are trying to figure out, and they're still stumped. To get some answers, a special probe called BEP-Colombo is on its way to Mercury and just captured its first distant shot, revealing more wrinkles on this tiny planet that's still shrinking before our eyes. It looks like there's more going on beneath the surface than we initially thought. Stay tuned for what else Mercury has in store. Mercury's surface might look barren and rocky, but get ready to be surprised. It's actually loaded with hidden treasures like water, sodium, carbon dioxide, and even mercury itself. These volatile substances are mysteriously still intact after 4.5 billion years, vaporizing only now through the surface in a process that could be creating those new rock formations we're seeing. But here's the real puzzle: if the sun's intense heat should have evaporated these light materials eons ago, how did Mercury manage to keep them all this time? The answer might lie in its unexpected origin story. Scientists think it's possible that Mercury actually formed way farther from the sun and then got pulled closer due to some cosmic gravitational hitchhiking. Now we're getting to the crux of the mystery. One theory suggests Saturn's gravitational might actually played a role in Mercury's wild ride from its distant birthplace to its current sun-hugging spot. But wait, if it formed far away, how could it end up with that massive metal core? Something doesn't quite add up here. And if that wasn't enough, scientists are also stumped by the presence of a huge amount of water ice on Mercury. A total head-scratcher given those scorching temperatures. Still, it's not entirely impossible that icy remnants could be hiding in deep crater shadows and at the poles, where they've managed to survive for billions of years. Hold on to your seat. Things just got even more surprising. Scientists have discovered even more water hiding on Mercury, one of the hottest planets out there. So, how's this possible? It's mind-blowing, but it's actually the sun that might be behind this watery wonder. You see, Mercury's surface has something called hydroxyls. These are oxygen and hydrogen atoms linked together, but they're not enough on their own to create water. Enter the solar wind, which is basically a stream of charged particles from the sun. Protons in this cosmic breeze can seep into Mercury's surface, where they trigger those hydroxyls to collide and merge into, you guessed it, water molecules. But here's the amazing part. These water molecules don't just disappear into thin air. Some escape into space, while others find their way to shaded poles, where they form icy deposits. Now, this process takes time, but scientists think that in about 3 million years, Mercury could accumulate a whopping 10 trillion tons of fresh ice, equivalent to around 46 massive Columbia glaciers. You might be thinking, hey, with all that sunlight and potential ice, colonizing Mercury could be easier than Mars. And you're right, it's true that Mercury gets 6 times more sunlight than Earth, making it a potentially game-changing power source. However, hold on to your space boots. We still can't just pack up our bags and head to the smallest planet in our solar system. The truth is, settling on Mercury isn't exactly the best idea. Now, scientists are actually considering Mercury as a top contender for our future energy needs. Think of it like a cosmic solar power station. But let's not get ahead of ourselves here. Getting there won't be a cakewalk. Just ask NASA's Messenger probe, which took an impressive 7 years to finally enter Mercury's orbit after looping around Earth and Venus a few times to slow down enough. Now, imagine being stuck on a colonization ship for that long, not exactly the most appealing prospect. And when it comes to landing on this tiny planet, things only get more complicated with almost no atmosphere to help break our fall. It'd be like trying out the trickiest parking job in the universe. To make matters worse, Mercury is also known for its wild temperature swings. We're talking minus 180 degrees Celsius at night and a sizzling 400 degrees Celsius during the day. Not exactly the most welcoming environment for any space traveler or settler. Mercury might sound like it's got some perks. After all, its days are a whopping 176 Earth days long. That gives our future colonists a good amount of time to plan their landing and find a spot with relatively safer temperatures. But here's the thing, this planet loves to throw curveballs. For instance, because of its super unique orbit, you could experience 2 sunrises in a row. Talk about a cosmic roller coaster ride for your circadian rhythms. And don't even get me started on the temperature swings. If you land during what seems like a lovely sunrise, be prepared for a chilly dusk. But that's not all. If your spacesuit can't handle these extreme changes and shorts out, things could get really ugly fast, especially considering Mercury's extremely low gravity, which basically creates a vacuum-like environment. Yikes. If you're not careful on Mercury, things could get seriously out of control. In just 15 seconds, lack of oxygen would knock you out cold, and if your friends don't act fast, it'd be goodbye. That's why those spacesuits better be top-notch, designed to handle this unforgiving environment. And as if that wasn't enough, mining equipment should also be ready for action. After all, finding stable places to live on Mercury might involve digging deep underground. But here's the silver lining. During the Messenger mission, scientists discovered some awesome lava tubes from past geological changes, and guess what? Some of these tubes are so deep they could fit an entire city inside. With temperatures around a comfy 21 degrees C, you'd barely need your spacesuit. And since it's super airtight in there, you could even recreate the Earth's atmosphere and chill out without any protective gear. Now that's what I call a Mercurian mansion. Mercury's got a few more tricks up its sleeve for potential settlers. For starters, hiding beneath the surface means you'd be protected from those intense radiation beams from space. Now, if you want to survive on Mercury without bunkering down all day, here's an idea. Why not build a mobile settlement that keeps moving west? That way, it can stay in the sweet spot between blazing hot sun and chilly darkness. Talk about having your cake and eating it too. The slow rise of the sun on Mercury means you wouldn't need to go turbo speed to keep up with this game of cosmic tag. Still, the best short-term solution seems to be building cities within craters at Mercury's poles. Some of these impact sites are whopping 100 kilometers in diameter, and they'd provide plenty of space for mega cities like Beijing or Tokyo to call home. Let's dive into what a city in a crater would look like. It's actually totally doable. Picture this: the crater walls providing top-notch protection from those harsh solar rays, while solar panels installed on the upper edges harness energy for you to use. As long as you've got this setup nailed down, Mercury won't throw any curveballs your way. Plus, a constant water supply. That's just the icing on the cake. Thanks to clever mirror systems, you could even create an environment perfect for growing plants. Talk about turning the planet into a green oasis. Now, here's where things get interesting. While you've managed to dodge the sun, Mercury's gravity still poses a challenge. The lower gravitational pull means your body would have to adapt in some pretty cool and sometimes weird ways. Get ready for a Mercury reality check. Its gravity is only 1/3 of Earth's. On one hand, you'd feel like a superhero, effortlessly clearing skyscrapers with your giant leaps or lifting massive weights as if they were toys. But hold on to your seat, because the science says otherwise. Prolonged exposure to this low-gravity environment could lead to some wild changes in your body. Muscles and bones would start to shrink. It's like your body is going through a radical transformation. You'd see a drastic leaner figure, with weaker muscles and thinner bones. Your vision would also take a hit as your eyes adapt to the constant bright sunlight by darkening. And if that's not enough, cardiovascular issues could become a real concern. Fast forward to future generations of Mercury colonists, they'd essentially be living aliens. Their bodies would have fully adapted to this new reality, and it's safe to say they wouldn't look like us at all. So buckle up for some seriously out-of-this-world changes if you ever find yourself on the smallest yet scorching hot planet in our solar system. What if we're not the first to call Mercury home? Could it be that this scorching hot planet has secrets hidden beneath its surface? Or rather, in its thin atmosphere? Yeah, you heard that right, Mercury does have an atmosphere, but don't get too excited, it's so faint. Scientists classify it as an exosphere. This ghostly layer is so sparse that the molecules barely bump into each other. But here's the thing, even in this nearly non-existent atmosphere, scientists are detecting signs of life. It may sound crazy, but sun-related and water vapor signals could be like Mercury's own breathing patterns, while methane presence might hint at life's waste products. Could it be that we're not alone on this tiny planet after all? Maybe the next time you gaze up at Mercury, you'll be wondering if there are beings down there who've adapted to its extreme environment, and they could be living in conditions way stranger than anything we can imagine. Hold up. We're told no known life form could handle Mercury's sizzling temperatures, and that liquid water, a must for life as we know it, is nowhere to be found. But wait, there's this: what if we've got the story half wrong? What if beneath those harsh surface conditions lies a different tale altogether? Scientists have been looking closer at Mercury's underground caves, or rather its extensive network of lava tubes. New research suggests that not all volatile compounds, like water, have evaporated from Mercury as previously thought. In fact, according to Alexis Rodriguez from the Institute for Planetary Sciences in Arizona, it's quite possible that there are still hidden reservoirs of liquid water deep within these underground tunnels, protected from the extreme temperatures above. Now here's where things get really intriguing. Given those biosignatures found in Mercury's thin atmosphere, which some interpret as signs of life, what if its entire ecosystem is actually thriving not on the surface, but hidden away in these deep, water-filled lava tunnels? Imagine that, a whole world teeming with life beneath our feet, right there on Mercury. But here's a thought: what if life on Mercury isn't just surviving, but actually thriving in ways that defy our current understanding? Let's dive into something pretty mind-blowing. Recent findings from the BEP-Colombo probe have revealed an unusual surge of electrons around Mercury, triggered by X-ray radiation. This phenomenon, often seen as a kind of invisible aurora, was previously observed only on planets with thick atmospheres, allowing charged solar particles to interact with atmospheric gases. But Mercury's got a super-thin exosphere, making this occurrence seem impossible. So what could be causing it? One wild theory is that we're actually looking at traces of an underground civilization harnessing solar flares to power their technology. Essentially, they'd be using the planet's own energy to recharge their generators. And yet, while we're all caught up in the excitement of possibly discovering extraterrestrial life on Mercury, there's a catch: it could be entirely underwater. That's right, beneath those scorching surface temperatures might lie vast oceans, hidden away from our view and waiting for us to explore. It turns out that new research suggests liquid water isn't entirely ruled out on Mercury just yet, so who knows what kind of life might be lurking in its depths. But there's another bombshell. Let's talk about the end of life on Earth, or at least, the end as we know it for our planet's closest neighbor, Mercury. You see, this tiny but mighty planet has an orbit that wildly varies between a scorching 47 million kilometers from the Sun and a more tolerable 70 million kilometers away. And here's the kicker: over billions of years, Jupiter's gravitational tug-of-war will stretch Mercury's orbit so much that it'll actually start to overlap with Venus. Imagine a cosmic car crash waiting to happen, an inevitable collision course between our two inner planets. Once this catastrophic event unfolds, Mercury will be thrown into chaos, careening unpredictably through the solar system like a celestial wild card. And as it hurtles off course, who knows what kind of far-reaching effects this could have on Earth's own orbit, and potentially even our climate. The fate of life on our planet might not just depend on us all, but on the unpredictable dance of our very own cosmic neighborhood. But hold on to your seats, things just got a whole lot more intense. If we think crashing into the Sun is our worst-case scenario, it turns out there's an even crazier possibility. Laskar's research suggests that Jupiter's immense gravitational pull could actually send Mercury hurtling straight towards Earth instead. Can you imagine? A cosmic disaster so massive it'd leave nothing but a desolate planet in its wake. To put things into perspective, the asteroid that wiped out the dinosaurs was just 10 kilometers wide, a tiny blip on the radar. But if we were to collide with Mercury, we're talking about an object almost 5,000 kilometers across. That's like smashing into a massive mountain hurtling through space at breakneck speeds. The very thought of it is enough to make you wonder if any life form could survive such a monumental cataclysm. But here's the twist. Even if we manage to escape Earth by colonizing Mars, there's still a chance that a rogue Mercury could come knocking on our new Martian doorstep. However, according to Lasker's study, this apocalyptic scenario has a slim 1% chance of happening, giving us a 99% guarantee of a collision-free future. Now, let's breathe a sigh of relief, or should we? While the thought of Mercury crashing into Earth might be unsettling, there's actually a silver lining. As we strive to become a more advanced civilization, we'll need to tap into an enormous amount of energy to reach the next level, as proposed by Soviet astrophysicist Nikolai Kardashev in his Type II civilization theory. This involves building a Dyson sphere, essentially a colossal engineering project that harnessed the power of our sun. And guess what? Mercury could hold the key to making this incredible feat possible. Who knew that this tiny planet might just help us unlock our potential and take humanity to new heights? But wait, there's more. As Canadian futurist George Dvorsky proposed, we wouldn't even need to build on Mercury. Instead, we could tear it apart. The planet's massive iron core would be a goldmine of resources for our Dyson Sphere project. But is disrupting the delicate balance of our solar system's third planet worth it? Or should we focus on more earthly endeavors? Perhaps we'd be better off harnessing Mercury's unique charm to create an out-of-this-world experience, literally.